book friends, I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through my TBR list for the books that I plan to attempt to read through the month of November. I am very much a mood reader, so these are the books that I'm going to, that I'm fairly certain that I'm going to get to, but not necessarily, because I may change my mind and pick a book off of my TBR cart, because all of these are books that I'm very interested in reading right now. So we'll see. I do want to tell you guys something before I get into my books. I had once before said that I wanted to have videos out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but that's proving to be a bit difficult for my schedule right now. So instead, I'm going to have weekly reading vlogs on Mondays, and then I will have another video on either Wednesday or Friday, depending on the week. And so you can definitely be expecting at least 2 videos a week from me. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to get into the books that I'm reading in November. To begin with, this is currently still October when I'm filming this, and so I am starting a book this week, but I know that I'm not going to finish it this week, so it's definitely going to carry over into November, and that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I'm really excited to be reading this. I have been wanting to read this for quite a while now. I have 2 best friends who have read it and have absolutely loved it, and I'm very excited to finally be getting into this. Not to mention, I hear rave reviews everywhere for the Mistborn series, and so I'm just thrilled that I'm finally getting into it, and I can't wait to read about it. And I have thus far managed to go without getting any spoilers. So that's really awesome, because I want to go into this book not really having any expectations other than everybody loves it. That's the only expectation that I really have, is that I'm most likely going to really enjoy this. So we will see, and I'm super excited. Next, sticking with the fantasy genre, I want to try to get into Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. I believe it's Ames. I have had this book. I was going to try to read it last month, but this month, October, but I didn't really have enough time. So I'm wanting to try to read this if I have a chance. I know Mistborn is kind of thick, and this one is almost 500 pages, so I'll just have to see how the month looks, if I'm going to have time to start this one. If I do, I have a feeling I'm going to breeze through this because it's full of humor and wit, and I have already read a few pages of it, and I just really like the writing style, so hopefully I will have a chance to jump into this. And if not, I'm going to pick this up before the end of the year, because I just see myself really enjoying this book. Next, I'm going into some young adult reads, and the first one is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallero. For one, I really love this cover. I think it's so pretty. I just love the color and the font. It's very aesthetically appealing for me. But this is about, as you can see, a study in Charlotte, like a study in Scarlet, like Sherlock Holmes. This is about the descendants of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and I think the descendant for Holmes is a girl, and she's supposed to be just as snarky as Holmes is in the original stories. And then there's a boy who is a descendant of Watson, and they end up teaming up on, I believe, a college campus or a school campus of some sort to solve a murder mystery. This is a trilogy. I don't know if each book is a standalone story or if they all go together. I've just heard that this is a really good book, and I'm really excited to read it. I like reading mysteries whenever it starts to get cold outside, and so I'm wanting to read this, and I have high hopes for it. I've been looking forward to reading this for a little while now, and it just sounds really cute. So hopefully I'll have a chance to jump into this one, and it's not that long. It's actually a fairly short book, so hopefully I'll have time to get to this one. The next one, I'm actually a little surprised at myself, because I didn't think that I was going to want to read it, but I changed my mind, and that's Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I had very mixed feelings about the first book. Her writing style is sometimes a bit too flowery for me, and her similes and metaphors can be just a little over the top for my preference. But that being said, her first book stuck with me, and I ended up really dwelling on how much I enjoyed reading it. Like, the entertainment value was actually very high for me, so I want to see what happens with the characters. I want to continue on with Legendary, even though I find myself rolling my eyes very frequently at her wording. I am invested in these characters now, and I want to continue on with Legendary, and I'm hoping that I'm going to like this one a little bit more than I liked the first one, but we will see. I believe this one is actually from Tella's point of view, which is the other sister. The first one was about Scarlet, so I'm excited to see what happens with her, because the last book kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger of not really knowing what's coming next. So I'm hoping that this is going to live up to the expectations. And plus, look at this cover. Is it not just gorgeous? I love this cover. The cover of both of these books are just so pretty. I don't have the third one yet. If I like this one, I'm going to get the third one and read it too. But I have to go off of my feelings for this one before I make that purchase. So we'll see. Another one that I think that actually might not be young adult. I'm not 100% sure. This may actually be classified as an adult novel, and that's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. My best friend read this, and it's her favorite book of the year, and I am so excited to read this. I've had this since the day that it came out, and I haven't had an opportunity to get into it yet because I've been trying to wrap up the other stuff I'm reading. I have a horrible habit of just continuously picking up new books when I'm halfway through another one. So then I have like freaking 20 books pending, and I don't finish them because I'm so overwhelmed by how many books I have pending. So anyway, I'm really wanting to read this book because I keep hearing really great things about it, and I've been really excited for this to come out. So I plan to be getting to this in the very near future. This will probably be one of the very first ones I pick up in November because I'm so excited to read it. The next one is one that I believe it was on my TBR last month because I just received it in the mail not long ago, and I've been excited to read it, and that is Chocolat by Joanne Harris. And this I've talked about in another video. This comes from a movie that I absolutely loved. Well, the movie came from the book, but I watched the movie first, and I love the movie, and so I'm really anxious to read this book because I've heard that the book is even better than the movie, and it's really not long, so I feel like I will have time to read this. And I've heard that it's very magical, and it's very sweet and uplifting, and I've also heard that the movie focuses more on like the sadder aspects of the book, but the book is actually more happy than what the movie was. So I am really, really excited to read this because it's one of my favorite movies, and I can't wait to see what the book has to offer. And plus, this actually, I believe, has 3 books in the series. I believe there are 2 more that follow these exact same characters. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, seeing how I feel about it, and getting the other 2 books with these same characters in them. The next one is one that was just released last month, and I started it. I've read like 10 pages of it, but I put it down because the same thing that I said earlier, I didn't want to start like 15 books and then be in the middle of all of them. And I'm wanting to pick this one back up because I was loving the writing style, and that is Well Played by Jen DeLuca. I loved Well Met. It has been one of my favorite books of this year, and I'm excited to read Well Played, which is from a different character's perspective than from the main book. And I like that. I like that you're getting someone else's perspective, but the same characters are all still in the book, so you're still seeing the outside view of the characters from the first book, and then you're getting the first person point of view from Stacy, who ended up being Emily's good friend from the first book. So anyway, I love the Renaissance theme. I love the characters, and the way that she writes her characters it's just so engaging, and it's something that I just really enjoy. So I'm going to try to read this in November, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the last one is actually a book that I am starting this week, and I know I'm not going to get finished because it's pretty thick, but I'm buddy reading it with my best friend, and so I'm going to wrap it up probably in the first couple of weeks of November, and that's The Diviners by Libba Bray. I've heard so many people love this book, and I've had this book on my shelf for years. I got this back in college and put it on my bookshelf and then never read it. I don't have any idea why I did that because I've heard so many people talk about what an incredible book this is, and I'm really excited to read it. I think that she said that she's read it like 4 times and that she's on her 5th reading of it, but we're reading it together, and it's my first time, so we're going to be discussing it, and I'm really looking forward to it because I enjoy creepy books, especially with the 1920s vibe, which is what I've been told this is, because I don't actually have a lot of information about what this book is about. Again, managed to avoid spoilers. I don't know how, because so many people talk about this book, but still, I'm really excited to read it, and I'm excited to be reading it with her and to be chatting about it, because books somehow are more fun when you have a friend to talk about the book with. And especially when you're reading them together and you're able to chat about what's going on in the book and what you're liking and disliking. It's just so much fun, and I really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to this one in November as well. Well, carrying over into November. So I think it's going to be fun. Also, if I have time, I want to read another Riley Sager book, because I'm really loving Riley Sager. I have finished Final Girls, and I'm reading Home Before Dark, and I really want to read Lock Every Door. So there's a very good possibility that I will pick this one up in the month of November as well, because, you know, mood reading and, you know, everything that I said earlier. So if I do, I'll definitely let you guys know in reading vlogs, and we'll see. As always, I'm far too ambitious with my TBRs, and I'm not really sure if I can pick these up and show them to you guys today, because it's quite the stack, and they're kind of thicker books. I don't know what I was thinking. I got this, though. I got this. There we go. Check it out. These are the books that I'm planning on reading in November, or carrying over from October to November. And if you are planning on reading any of these, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to chat with you. Also, let me know what you're reading in the month of November. I love talking to people about what they're reading. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.